Good morning, my brothers and sisters. Welcome to episode 83 in the book of Revelation. I'm going to title today, what a great title, Heaven on Earth. Heaven on Earth. The reason being is we all wonder, where am I going? And we're going to get a description of literal heaven here today. And we're going to ask the questions, where am I going and where is this place? Where did it come from? Who is there and what is it like? And then probably tomorrow we'll head towards, why does he tell me this, and what do I need to pack for this journey, or how should I be preparing? So join me in a wonderful passage in Revelation chapter 21. I'm going to start in verse 9. The verse 9 of chapter 21. Then came one of the seven angels who had the seven bowls full of the seven last plagues, and spoke to me, saying, Come, I will show you the bride, the wife of the Lamb. And he carried me away in the Spirit to a great high mountain, and showed me the holy city Jerusalem, coming down out of heaven from God. He showed me the holy city Jerusalem, coming down out of heaven from God, having the glory of God, its radiance, like a most rare jewel, like a jasper, clear as crystal. It had a great high wall with 12 gates, and at the gates 12 angels, and on the gates of the name of the 12 tribes of the sons of Israel were inscribed. On the east 3 gates, on the north 3 gates, on the south 3 gates, and on the west 3 gates. And the wall of the city had 12 foundations, and on them were the 12 names of the 12 apostles of the Lamb. So as an introduction, John recognizes an angel that he last saw 1,000 years ago. That was before the 1,000-year reign. So the angel is 1,000 years older, and John sees yet another vision of the angel. But he recognizes the angel, which I find fascinating. The angel is an eternal being. I think it emphasizes that, an eternal being that doesn't, age. And I think it's instructive that we are going to be like angels in this way. Now, don't get me wrong. I'm not saying we will be angels. I'm saying we will have this characteristic of angels of not aging with our new eternal bodies. So I think that's just interesting. John is carried away in the Spirit. Now, these were not visions as in, a made-up kind of a dream-like thing. This is a reality. It was real for John, and he's trying to describe it, literally, and it's going to be real for you. You can see what John saw, and you can be part of this. So I think, one of the reasons it's given to us is to envision ourselves there, or envision ourselves not there and say, what do I need to do to get there? So we ask the question, well, what is the dwelling place for people long term? Well, it's the New Jerusalem. Someday, everyone who believes will be, quote unquote, from the New Jerusalem. And like saying I'm from New York, the city bears the character, or we bear the character and the identity of the city. It's God's city, and we're going to be God's people. So what's the dwelling place for people? The New Jerusalem. Well, here's the trickier question. What is the dwelling place for God? Well, ironically, it's the same answer. We're going to have the same address as God. We're going to get his mail by mistake some days. His dwelling place is the New Jerusalem. He created it for us. He created it for himself. So who has prepared it? Who is it prepared for? It's both of us. And how long has it been ready? Well, let's go to John 14:2. This is Last Supper before Jesus leaves. He says, In my Father's house are many rooms. If it were not so, I would have told you that I go to prepare a place for you. And if I go and prepare a place for you, I will come again and take you to myself, that where I am, you may be also. And you know the way to where I am going. So we're going to the place prepared for believers and to be taken there by believers. So where he will be is where we will be. So what is the place where believers live with God forever? Well, Jesus describes it here as my Father's house. It's the New Jerusalem, and it's heaven. Let's talk about this New Jerusalem. So it's the place where you go to die or after you die. And then it's the same place that is this heavenly paradise kingdom. We get new bodies there, and then we return to the earth, this new Jerusalem, the city of peace. It descends. Now, John here describes it as a radiance of a rare jewel because it has the glory of God, and geography informs interpretation, and the geography of being proximal to God describes this glorious state. It's the same city that Abraham yearned for in Hebrews 11:10. It says that Abraham was looking forward to the city that has foundations, who's designer and builder of God. So it's founded, it's built, it's designed by God. It has a divine origin, founded a long time ago, and now it descends from heaven down to this new earth. It's literally heaven on earth. It's the same city as described in Hebrews 12:22. It says, you have come to Mount Zion, to the city of the living God, the heavenly Jerusalem, and to myriads of angels, so angels are going to be there, and to the general assembly and church of the firstborn, so people are going to be there, who are enrolled in heaven, and to God, the judge of all, and to the spirits of the righteous made perfect, and to Jesus, the mediator of a new covenant, and to the sprinkled blood, which speaks better than the blood of Abel. Now, it's described as glorious because the character and characteristics of God are there. John's most impressed by the glory. It's illuminated by God because God gives it light. It's going to say that in a couple verses down the road here. And the lamp is Jesus. So it's like this diamond city. It describes this jewel, describes it as jasper, which is an opaque stone. But iaspis, which is the Greek word, means translucent stone, and it's described here as a crystal thing. So it's probably diamond. It's a light reflecting stone. So it has some characteristics of a great jewelry store, God being the light and reflectors of this light in diamonds. All right, so then we're described as a bride. So someday every believer will be a part of the bride and a wife to Christ. Now that bride is going to be prepared, and we'll talk about it tomorrow. So in conclusion, at least for today, we are going to go to the place prepared for believers, and that means to be taken to the place where Jesus himself is. So where we will be is where he will be. And what is the place where believers live with God forever? It's what Jesus said was my house, the new Jerusalem. It's going to be in heaven, and eventually it's going to come down to the newly created, or at least renewed earth. Welcome to your new home. Thanks for listening.